Chaser, and boy, we have a show for you tonight. Well, we're gonna start off with Erskine. I always give Erskine the platform to always start us off. So Erskine, go ahead and start us off.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? How you doing? I am Percy Alexander. Man, great city of New York. I'm in the burbs, though. I'm here in New York, and I'm a mental health clinician here, board certified, and I'm also an actor. I'm also an actor, and for those that tuned in, what was it, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, to For Life, that's on ABC. I was released from prison. I was one of the inmates in the ABC series, and we walked out of jail. So anyway, that's my story. I do that as a side thing, and I'm also, like I said, a mental health clinician here in New York City at Monty, and I've also been counseling and doing private therapy sessions for 11 years. I've been working at the hospital for 20 years. I'm also a husband of almost 16 years, and I'm the father of a amazing 12 and a half year old and my wonderful wife Sabrina, who's been my lady for 20 years. So it's always a great pleasure and honor to come into your homes on Saturday night. The purpose of this show is to have some fun, have some insight, get to drink, get to eat on. Let's talk about it because this platform was created due to the coronavirus pandemic. So as much as negative as much negative stuff that we experienced with that, there was some positive. So anyway, I'm talking a little too much, and I'm about to pass it on down. Well, pass it on to the left to my homegirl, my ace, the great Nitra.
I muted myself.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. You.
Yeah, that's what was going on. So, hello, everybody. I am Nitra. I am a jack of all trades, as you all know, a master of some. I have three children, generational children. If you don't know what generational children are, they're children born in separate generations. I have a 25-year-old, 22-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And I am also a honey. That is my grandmother name that my grandchildren would call me. I have a 22-month-old grandson, and he is going to call me honey, along with the rest of them. Okay, so a jack of all trades. I work for the Department of None of Your Business. I do work a full time job, and I'm also an entrepreneur. So, with that being said, Erskine and I, if you don't know, Erskine and I have been friends since we was 14 years of age, and we're now in our 40s, and we are still friends. So,
Yes.
we're gonna just go ahead and jump straight into it tonight. We're gonna be stepping on some toes. Excuse me. We apologize. No, we don't apologize. This show is called Unfiltered, No Chaser. We're gonna say what we feel. Me more so than him over there. Gonna speak
She got
freely
the
on
I
how we
got
feel
the
about
same.
certain things. Everybody knows I'm the cursor on the show, and he's the ooh girl, bring it on down, bring it on down. But we have a guest on, and the guest that we're bringing on tonight is I actually know him. He is my line sister's husband, and we are in a group with our organization, and he had a topic on there that was something that I think that needed to be expounded on more than just within the groups that we're a part of. So we brought it to Unfiltered, No Chaser. What more do you want to talk about? So we're gonna kick it back a little bit because Mama Donna, who is Erskine's mom, said that hey, why don't y'all talk about relationships a little bit more? Okay, so guess what? We're about to do that. We're about to kick down the door. We're going to talk about it. We want your comments. We want your thoughts and opinions as normal. You know how we do it here on Unfiltered No Chaser. And without more, we're going to bring Bernard Johnson on and have him to further introduce himself.
What's up, everybody?
What's up,
Woo.
Bernard?
Uh,
How are you doing this evening? How are
I'm
you
doing all right.
doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
That is
Ready,
good. That is
ready to
good.
get into this topic and step on some toes.
Yes, we're stepping on some toes. So, okay, brother, you brought up. I told the guests, the show, the audience, about this topic that you had, and I think it was something that needed to be broadcast a little bit in another arena.
Right.
which is this platform right here. So the title of our show is slightly different, but it's the same thing
Right.
as the title that you had. So let's start off by saying what the title is. Basically, the title is it's a couples show. You don't have to be a couple. So
Right.
if you all are not a couple, it's not dedicated only for couples. Put it like this: it's dedicated for people that ain't married. Okay, okay. So
Definitely.
the question is, the elephant in the room is this: we gonna shack up. What the hell are we gonna do once we get in this space together?
What's the end game?
What is the end game? What are we doing? So, because it was your conversation first,
Okay.
I want you to start it off.
Well, I look at it like this. You got people that's, we grew up with grandmothers, people our age grew up with grandmothers, and all they talked about shacking up, don't shack up, don't do this, don't do that. What's the other word? Fornication and all that good stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just feel like, because I'm still a little old school, you gotta have an end game. You gotta have an end game. If you're gonna be in a relationship and we're gonna play house, I'm paying bills, you paying bills, we accumulating community property. You know what I'm saying? We doing everything a married couple do, with no intentions on doing what married couples do, and that's get married.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's normally always one person out the bunch or out the two that has that mentality. Okay, they see it going towards marriage, but because there was no real conversation about it, that other person is like, hey, we didn't talk about that in the beginning, so
Exactly.
What you talking about? I ain't had no clue you was thinking about getting married. We never talked about that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it becomes that thing to where, and women, mostly they good for it. You'll sit back and you'll wait, and you wait. And then when you finally get the nerve or the courage to say, what are we doing? You done spent 5, 6, 7 years in a relationship with a dude that never had no intentions on marrying you in the first place.
Yeah.
Or you hint around, oh, her ring is so pretty, or such and such just got married, or blah, 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 blah. And he's sitting there like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That's what I would do. I would say, oh, that's cute. For real? That's nice. He must got some money. Okay.
Right. Well, let me just, because y'all know I'm very transparent. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you all my business, but I'm transparent. For the most part, I move in complete silence. But because this is to the subject, my husband and I, we did live together for a little bit. Actually, and it wasn't the whole thing with me and him was it wasn't a whole, hey, let's just move in together. There was an event that happened that I was like, no, you just come here. But it was an end game to it. You know, it wasn't just, we just gonna start living together, because my thing was I never wanted my kids to see me just living with somebody random. Okay, well now, this year or 2 years is with Mr. Erskine, and then the next 2 years is with Mr. Bernard, and she always got this rotating door with all of these different men. So in my kids' eyes, the two oldest ones, besides their dad, they don't know any other guy. But my ex, and as a matter of fact, they call him dad. They're closer to him than their biological dad. So that's all they saw. So it was, for me, it was never a question on, well, what are we doing? Because before he moved in, I said, if you move in, you got until X amount of time. And then if that's not where we're going to be at, you got to leave. So I had already set those boundaries, prior to him coming in.
But that's the thing. The boundaries have to be set in the beginning. You can't wait 5, 6 years in and then expect me to, because I'm comfortable at this point. I'm good. As a man, I'm good. You never came to me about no marriage before. So you can't come to me 5, 6 years later talking about, babe, I think we should get married, huh?
Right. And I want to piggyback on that. So many
comfortable
people,
where I'm at that point.
Yeah. So many people, the problem is now a lot of people get together now for economic purposes. And what I mean by that is financially, it's a lot now to run your entire house by yourself. It's a lot to maintain your entire house by yourself. And then also being able to go out. So financially, it's a lot. So what happens is people will get together, move in because in their mind they're thinking about cutting the cost.
Mm.
If you move in with me, you can split these bills down the line, which gives me an extra amount of money to be able to do what it is that I want to do. And they don't even bring up marriage because all they're thinking about is the economic part of it. You know, I'm saving money. That's what see, and this is not for everybody, but for most people nowadays, that's just what it is. If I move in with you, I ain't got to worry about certain things. I can pay instead of the rent being $800, it's $400 now. So now I
Right.
got $400. The car note that was $305, we split it down the line. It's $150 now. So the expenses get cut. So you are just focusing on living, and you don't even discuss marriage. But this is where it needs to change. You know, like you said, like Bernard said, he's old school. You know, we need to lay this foundation out up front. Me personally, and I know this was 20 years ago. You know, we talked 20 years ago. I love my bachelor pad in Manhattan.
Yes,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
my wife had her crib in New Rochelle, and I had my crib in Manhattan. I go visit you, you go visit me. We did not officially move in until about 2 weeks before the wedding. 2, 3 weeks, I say about 3 weeks before we actually got married. But I stretched my lease all the way out, and she held up, held her pad all the way out until we came in until it came time to move in together. However, people are just not doing that now.
But see, you came into your situation pretty much when y'all moved together. You was already married. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So,
and
but you got the people that, just like you said, for the economic reasons, they moving in,
they're moving in.
and we might be together as girlfriend and boyfriend when we make this decision.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? But it's always one person in the relationship that has more on their mind, and
yeah,
they thinking it's going one way and
yeah.
it's not.
It's not.
And
It's
nine
not.
times out of 10, it's the woman because she's like, well, if I don't bring up marriage or end game, then he'll be with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
doesn't have to mean that she got low self esteem or low self worth. None of that.
no,
It doesn't have that
Right.
has nothing to do with it.
no.
But because she is so in love with this dude,
Yeah,
she's willing to accept
yeah.
the long stretches. Look, let me
The
tell you
long
something.
stretch, waiting for him to get ready.
Well, I had, not to cut you off. I have a friend going through this right now as we speak. Right now as we speak. And it stretched 2 years until the gentleman decided to no longer want to be in the household because the questions that she started to ask him sounded more like a wife, sounded more like a girlfriend, bringing more stability to the relationship. He was not ready for that.
Right.
My question to her was, well, did you ever address the status of your husband? No, we never talked about that. That should have been addressed before he got up under your roof. So it's just, but like I said, when you're thinking with the dollar bill, you're thinking from an economic perspective. You're just not going to address the elephant in the room, like you said, Nietzsche. And I totally agree with you. I don't want to be home. I haven't felt this way in quite some time, so I'm not going to ask that question because it could, it could change up the dynamic of the relationship, and he'd shy
Change
away.
the whole dynamic up.
So we're just not going to address the elephant in the room. We're just not going to do it. So we're just going to ride it out until it fades. But you have to say something. You have to let it be known up front. And especially when you make a decision to move in with a person.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying you just have to lay the groundwork out on front.
But you know where that's heavily common at? And I'm pretty sure Bernard know what I'm about to say.
Go ahead.
That is heavily common in the military.
Yeah.
You got two people that should not be living off base. They love each other, whatever, and they go move in together.
Listen, when I was in, Cash was doing contract marriages.
Yes, we call them AIT marriages.
Yeah, he was doing contract marriages just to get the extra money.
Just to get the extra money back.
Just to get the extra money so we can move on post.
Yeah, but you know,
You go
and
do
I
what you
know,
do. I do what I do. We just married on paper.
right, and see, a lot of people did. You know, I'm not familiar with the military part of it, but just different friends, different people that I know, there's a, you know, a crazy amount of benefits that you get when you do get married. So people rush at it.
Pause. It ain't no
I
bunch
don't,
of crazy
I don't
benefits.
know. Maybe,
That
I'm
that
sorry, I
that
don't know.
that is the thing with people, and it's nothing towards you because you're not in that
Right, I don't know.
arena. But that's a misconception with people that has never been in the military, ever been in the military. And I'm gonna also say this: they see what military people have because we kind of getting off subject now. What people have, military people have, and think that military people got this, or their uncles or whatever, that uncles or aunts or older people that was in the military. They hype up what the military have, and then you think that that's what they get, but unbeknownst to a lot of people, the military people is right there with the fucking Section 8 people when you lower enlisted. There are
Exactly.
people. No, you laughing. There are seriously people getting
I'm getting a whole lesson on this.
food stamps, and WIC in the military when they are lower enlisted, and
Yeah.
it's not all the time because they're spending up their money. They don't make enough. So
Hmm.
that's that.
But what I'm saying is, even to that, you know, I've seen people, and you and I, Nathan, we've seen people go off in the military. They come back married 6 months later.
That's what
Exactly.
me.
Come
That's
back
what me
a
and
year
Bernard
and
are
a half
talking
later,
about.
and it's like, and we've seen that. You know, we've seen that. It's been times where, you know, I know going to college in Atlanta, you know, it was Freaknik, it was girls, wasn't nobody thinking about no getting
Right.
married. That was the last thing you was thinking about. But then you
Different
have other
arena.
friends, but you have different friends, and I even ask these things. I tell you, with a wife, you 20 with a wife, but man, shout it, man. I went over there and man, and it
But
just
that's
happened
loneliness too. That's loneliness
at
too.
19.
Yes, that's loneliness too. If they don't marry their girlfriend from back home, they probably married somebody they met in
In
So
basic
basic
training,
training as soon as they get there.
or
okay,
AIT. You know, and it's loneliness because it's the first time they ever been away from home. They're probably miles away to where they can't get home. Like my daughter, she's in Hampton. She can get to me in 3 hours. I can get to her in 3 hours. But you have people that's longer hours. You know, huge hours, other side of the country, other side of the world, and it's loneliness. So that goes back to the whole shacking up part
okay.
Right.
because they're lonely. So now, boy meets girl, girl meets boy, and they live, they're co-inhabitating with each other,
Hmm.
and there's no game plan. And honestly, they don't even know what the hell that they want.
They don't
They
know what
just
they
don't
want.
want to be
Right.
lonely.
They don't know what they want.
I guess,
And then when they ready to move on to something else, I'm gonna keep saying it. You just get that one that's gonna say, "I didn't know that's what you wanted. I didn't know.
right.
I thought we was just. I thought we
Well,
was just boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that you giving me everything I want. I don't need you as my wife. I got everything. You know what I'm saying?
And
You
that's why
know.
you should have those conversations, even if you're still dating or your boyfriend and girlfriend. Am I someone that you can see? First of all, am I somebody that you can see as your girlfriend or as your boyfriend? That's the first
Hmm.
question for me.
that should be the
You
first
know,
step.
that's the first question. And then once you establish that girlfriend or boyfriend, then later on, maybe a 6 months, a year, am I somebody that you can see yourself married to?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because most of the time, at that point, you know,
yeah, no,
you know,
yeah,
you know what you want. You know, man, I'm either getting tired of you, or I'm ready to say, look, okay, it is what it is. Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? At that point, you know, you engaged for 5 years. What the fuck?
That's get.
but you know what?
Listen.
I'm gonna tell you something. I had someone tell me this, and it was the funniest thing. You know, I was at my office, and this was a few years ago, and a young lady told me she will be engaged for 10 years until she feel like it's the right time to get married. So
That's
we had, and I told her,
Then
I
why
said,
get engaged?
well, that's what I told her. That's what she said. We'll stay engaged for 10 years until I feel like it. So I told her, I said, no. I wouldn't do that. But she said
Hell no.
yes. She said yes. She would do that. And I'm still to this day, and that conversation took place years ago. But I told her, I said, why? She said, you wouldn't do that? I said, absolutely not. I was like Bernard said, you know, I don't care any man in America for
Do
all the men
guys
that are
know
watching.
though? Do guys know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, we
Absolutely.
know. I'm just speak for myself. I knew
I
because me, I'm the type. I'm not gonna be engaged to you for 3 years because
no.
I'm one piss.
Engagement,
I'm one piss off away from walking the fuck out saying
but
I ain't gotta be here.
engagements
You ain't my
are
damn wife. I ain't gotta be here.
but
So
engagements are only there to plan weddings if you
That's
want
it.
to get
That's
I
it.
get
have
that.
a wedding.
That's
I
it.
get
That's
that.
all it's there for.
But
It
you
Once you
should be
give
that.
her the ring, you can go to the damn courthouse the next day and go get
right.
married.
So
Exactly.
It's
That's
not.
the way.
It's
But that's the principle. It should be that way. It should be that way. But nowadays, and it depends on now. You almost damn near got to do a whole neurological assessment on a guy, or
yeah,
even the girl. I give you the ring just to shut you up.
I was just about to say, give him just tell. Hey, will you marry me? Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Take the ring.
Now I get to chill for 2-3 more years.
Right.
no,
They'll do that,
no,
but
no,
they'll do
no.
that. You're right. I totally
Anybody
agree.
that hears the sound of my voice, okay, let it be said tonight on the 30th of January. If the guy that I'm dating asks me to marry him, I'ma say yes if I want to marry him. It will not be no fucking engagement for over a year. I promise you on that. Because first
Right.
of all, one, I don't want a wedding. A wedding is a production for people, not
It's for
for
the people.
you.
I say that shit all the time.
Right, it's for
Right.
the people. Guess what? I'm not paying all that money just to put on a show for you because y'all don't care about what I look like anyway.
No,
You
because
don't call
they
me
gonna
doing
talk
it.
shit about your wedding anyway.
Right. You don't call me doing it again. You don't call me to check on me. I'm not doing that point
And
blank.
some people
But
come
what I
to you
will
and
do
try to
is
get you
take that
to do
money. I will do take that money, or we will do take that money that we would possibly have a wedding and go buy a piece of property, a house or something.
Yeah, you can do that. They don't call.
I
that
ain't
would
doing
be the, but let me say that would be the right thing to do. Unfortunately, you have some people nowadays they get married for the glitz and the glamour, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, some of these TV shows have really gassed up a lot of people. They spend thousands of dollars
Yeah.
and
hundreds of thousands too.
get a divorce before the wedding is over with. Before
hmm
the water on the
That
contract.
part.
Is I
That
want I
part.
want
Before
I
you
want
can't
to share
fit the
something.
dress no more.
Right. I want to share something. So, with my wife and I first started dating, we went. I felt like we were on a tour because we went, to several weddings, and some of those couples, unfortunately, the relationships ended. A few years later, there was one particular wedding that I went to, and the wedding didn't even take place. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it didn't even take place. So I just think, people have to see past the glitz and the glamour of do you really, really want to be in a relationship, with the person. It goes back to like we were saying earlier, an engagement when I made up in my mind, and Bernard, you right here with me. There's a
hmm
lot of women in the world, it's a lot of girls in the world. I went to school where it was an event called Freak Nick, and that's just what it was. Freak Nick, okay?
Freak
Cause
Nick.
somebody didn't go to prom. They was too fast in the tail to went to freak me,
I
wasn't
sure did. I missed my senior prom to go to Freak Nick in Atlanta, Georgia. But you think about it when you think about all the girls, you think about all the partying. When a man make up in his mind to say, "I want to get married," that's huge.
So
That's huge.
how does that happen? How
Well,
run me through a general scenario on how that happened.
okay.
How
How
what
does that
happens
happen?
when you
When a
make that?
man, as a man's point of view, when
Well,
he
first of all, you
says
gotta. I think I talked about this, on Wolf Talk when I said I'm 45 now. I think how old was I when I got married? Shit, about 3 years ago, whatever it was. Either way it goes, I was, and you get to a point where I've been married before, so got married, got divorced, and now you thinking, man, I'm free. I can do what the fuck I want to do. I can have all the girls I want. I can do whatever. But then the shit get old to the
yeah,
point where I'm at this age now, and it's like this shit is pointless. I found myself, I'm like, I can do whatever I want, be with any female I want, and I choose to just be at the damn house. You know what I'm saying? So I told myself, I said, the next relationship or the next chick I even deal with, if it ain't going somewhere, I ain't gonna waste my time. You know what I'm saying? And then just so happened,
Mhm.
I've run back into my wife now, who,
Mhm.
hell, we did AIT. We was an AIT couple.
Mhm.
25 years later, here we are as a married couple.
Yeah.
So you've been married for 25 years?
No,
No, no, no,
sir.
no, no.
I
They
was
met
married
25 years
before.
ago.
I was married before. We met 25 years ago. I was married. She was married. Hell, we both was in Iraq together. Just a lot of stuff we did together and didn't even realize we was there together.
Okay.
And then when we linked back up a few years ago, I knew then. It was like, this girl didn't come back into my life for no reason. So I
So what
knew.
was on that?
So it didn't take me long to assess the situation. And we
Yeah.
just like any other couple. She get on my nerves, I get on hers.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to make me walk away. And if it wasn't enough to make me say, I'm gonna do this I'm gonna try this out for 5 years first.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? I don't need to
Yeah.
test drive the car for 5 years to know I want to buy it.
Right.
You see what
That's
I'm
my
saying?
point. That's
You
my
take a
point.
car, you take a car, drive the bitch down the street and know you want it.
Right, right.
You see what I'm
Well,
Cause
saying?
you've been watching the car, you've been eyeing the car, and
Yeah.
well, for me, I want to twist it a little bit, from like how Bernard said it. Well, I went off to college at 18. I'm in Atlanta. Well, I'm in Columbus, but I'm in Atlanta, and we're loaded in Atlanta with nothing but girls, 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 more girls, girls. Now, mind you, you're young.
There's a lot of chicks in Atlanta.
Yeah, you would future doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, track stars, you name it. Hey, Tracy, how you doing? Tracy, track star Tracy. But you're interacting with different women from St. Louis. You're interacting with women from Kansas City, New York, LA, Chicago. All these women are in my home state, right? So you have your fun. You date this woman, you talk to this woman, or whatever, whatever. In my case, I ended up going off to grad school here in New York. Well, of course, the only thing that changed about New York was now I'm with all shapes, sizes, and flavors here in New York, right? So of course you have your little fun or whatever, whatever. But the older you get, by the time I can also sit there and say between partying, the clubbing, the hanging out, or whatever, 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 it get to a point where it's like you're still by yourself. You
Still by
know,
yourself.
you're still by yourself. So I met my wife, and I've shared this story of me. I met my wife in New York LaGuardia Airport on my way to Atlanta in 2001 to be on my worst behavior. And what happened? So a lot of people say, well, what made you get to the point of marriage? I have a very energetic personality. I have a very outgoing personality. The only thing I asked for in any female that I dated was let me be me. Let me be
Exactly.
myself. As
Exactly.
long as you're not trying to change me, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to try to change you. As long as you got goals for yourself, perfect. I got goals for myself. I don't feel like it's fair for me to work hard to just carry, 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 and you don't have nothing to bring to the table. Some people may say that's a crass statement, but we need to be able to build together. We need to be able to build together. We need to be able to say, all my goals, all my dreams, all my hobbies, all your goals, all your dreams, all your hobbies. We should be able to meet each other in the middle to make those things take place.
yep.
I was very serious about that. Now I'm an energetic guy, but that's the side of me that people don't know. We were very serious about supporting each other on our goals. When you find someone that supports you on all your dreams, all your aspirations, everything that you're trying to accomplish, that's when you know you found the right one.
It
You know,
makes a difference. Makes a difference.
huge difference because I tell people all the time, and I have no problem saying this. I've listened to Barack Obama say this about Michelle. I have no problem saying this, and I'll say it on air. I would have been here in New York, but to be sitting on a high platform, that wouldn't happen without my wife because we support each other and not just support each other, but it's a genuine friendship.
Right.
It's a genuine friendship. So when you do things in order, and I'm not trying to step on your toes what you do in your career. You're not trying to step on my toes what I do on my career. Who's that chick? Who's that? As long as we can support each other going forward, it's a winning situation. And that's what made me say after 2004, I said, okay, I'm done with her being my girl. I popped the question. I even did it the old school way. I flew to South Carolina to speak to her parents by myself because I wanted to get their blessing. You know what I mean? Because my mom and dad unfortunately been divorced, so I've seen what can happen in a relationship that leads to a divorce. I've seen it several times. So I wanted to make sure this was the right fit. You know, you definitely have to pray on it. But the most important thing is make sure you both understand where you're going. Because everybody do a lot of talking. I think at the end of the day, it's people, they'll talk and they'll sound a certain type of way. But when it's time to stand on the stage, it's like,
Right.
And
I've heard people say, yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that. They get in a relationship and they stop. Or they'll say, I'm into doing this or I'm into doing that as far as healthy eating or whatever. I'm just giving an example of that. And they stop.
Because they
So
get comfortable.
they get comfortable. And when you get comfortable, well, what happened? You said, no. You have to show me. And we have to show each other. And once I started to observe that, and like Bernard said, you're going to have your ups and your downs. She's wanted to throw me out the window a few times. You know,
Mhm.
just real. You know, that's just realistic. But when you both have your goals and you have your dreams and you have that friendship, and no one's trying to step on each other's toes, that's what I feel like you found the right person.
yeah,
That's just my story.
Oh yeah.
and those are both good, awesome stories. So I'm the divorced one on the panel tonight. But it's okay because I'm chilling. I'm Gucci over here. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Gucci.
But see, you also not
But
shacking up and playing house.
oh, no, no,
That's
no, no.
right.
I'm not shacking up and I'm not playing house. I have thought within myself, my ultimate goal in life is to be married again.
Hmm.
But
It wasn't my ultimate goal. I will say that because when I got divorced, I straight up said I was never going to be married again.
yeah, I
I
mean,
didn't want to do that shit for one time, but
right. But
here we are.
again, that's my goal. Now, I've also thought of what if I don't get married again? Think about those things too. If I was in a position to where it was living together, I have to really have that conversation with that person. Again, what are we doing? And if
Right.
the person said, I don't want to get married right now, I have to really take self inventory and say, now you want to get married. Are you going to be okay knowing that this person has no intentions of getting married? They just want to live like this as a companionship. I thought about that too.
Yeah, some people
I
will
thought
stay
about
in
that
that
too.
just to. Some people, I'm sorry because some people will stay in that hoping to change the person's
And that's
mind.
not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
Right.
some
So
people do that.
so I have to be comfortable with we will never get married, and I have to take self evaluation inventory of myself with, am I gonna be okay with
Right.
knowing this is the end goal? We're just companions living in the same house together. Because at the
But
end of
if
the
you
day,
choose that though, if you choose that,
if
it's
I
still
choose
your choice.
right, it's my
Right,
choice.
right, right.
Right, it's still my choice. And that with that also being said is if I feel like I get the itch of wanting to get married, I know how to bow out gracefully and
Hmm.
say, you know what? I respect that you never want to get married, but I want to be married. Because
Hmm.
here's the reality. Something happened to you. I don't have a dog in the fight. Your children or sister or brother or mom or dad, whatever, whoever the next of kin is, can come in here, push me to the side, even though we have this house together, we furnish the house together, we have all of this stuff together as a married couple should. I don't have legal claims. Take it a step further, if something happened to you and you was hospitalized,
Nothing you can do.
there's nothing that I can do.
Legal. No,
So
nothing legally.
women. I'm just gonna say women because it's mostly women and not the men. Okay, not too often you hear I want to marry my girl, but she don't want to get married. You don't really hear that. It is done, but you don't hear it that
Right, that's
often.
true.
Right, you don't hear that often. So I'm just gonna say for the basis, general conversation, women, we put ourselves in these situations and don't think of the longevity of the what ifs. Y'all are not married, but y'all been living together, coexisting in this home. But going back to what we said earlier, you have to ask these questions prior to getting to these steps. Okay, so what are we doing? Because I asked my ex-husband when we was dating, what are we doing? And he tried to hit me with, I'm just chilling. I mean, why we got to put names on it? It's gonna
A
complicate.
lot of
Remember that story I told you, Erskine? And I
yeah.
told him, I said, I tell you what, until you can figure out what we're doing, as far as if we're boyfriend and girlfriend, because you're here all the time. We're always doing things as a boyfriend, girlfriend. Don't call me and don't text me no more. It took me from leaving my house to my cousin's house in the DMV. I lived in Alexandria at that time. She lived in New Carrollton. Good, 20 minutes to get there? No, 30 minutes traffic. He was blowing up my phone. And it was like, I'm not about to do this. First of all, I'm older than you. That's number one. Number two, I ain't with the shits. What are we doing? You have to set those boundaries first as a girlfriend or potential girlfriend or whatever you
People don't
are.
like to use the word. They don't like to use the word girlfriend, boyfriend.
Because it's accountability.
That's right. That's right.
Titles are
That's right.
accountability.
But when you become somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend, no one's saying you're going to get married.
Right.
No one's saying that. You're just basically saying, listen, you're the person I want to be with, and I'm hoping that this can grow into something.
When you put that title of girlfriend and boyfriend, then mentally it's unspoken that it has to be, it's moving somewhere.
It's moving right.
It's moving somewhere. But if I don't put a title on it, we don't put a title on it at all, I can sit back and live under the comfortability and the umbrella of we never put a title.
And so many people do that. So many people do that. You see what I'm saying?
Joetta just said the same thing I did. Titles equal accountability.
And
they do. They do. Look, I was in high school, and two of my boyfriends in high school, Mike Shank and Elgin.
Who names drop?
Hey, Ryan, just telling their names and everything.
Well, Mike can't look. Listen here, it is what it is.
He might not want nobody to know he used to be your boyfriend.
Trust and believe, both of them do. Don't get that one twisted. Erskine can tell you about that. Don't get that one twisted. Both of them want them names drops.
She put me all the way out there.
Yeah, both of them want them names drops. But anyway, both of them was like, "Are you gonna be my girlfriend?" So I don't know where after high school guys stopped asking women, having that little conversation with women.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand.
After high school, they stopped doing that.
Yeah, I don't know why it don't get done, but you said something earlier that when you start asking questions to men, that's like you putting pressure on them. Like she's starting to talk about this bad shit. She wants
oh my god,
put a title on it. Like you know what I'm saying. Now at the end of the day, if we ain't really trying to marry you at this point, I'm looking like shit. I got to find me another chick to go chill with because she gonna eventually put me out because I don't want to be out.
The funny thing is, I have unfortunately, I have a buddy of mine that's going through that right now because that was never discussed. We played like it was, but that conversation, that particular elephant in the room, was never discussed. So, like you said, Bernard, when you started asking questions or you started behaving like your girlfriend, we established that you was the girlfriend. Wait a minute. I'm about to pack my stuff up and I'm about to go left.
So is it the question itself or is it the delivery?
I think it's the fact that the conversation was never had in the beginning. It was never had because I'm comfortable going in there knowing, okay, we just, she gonna pay half the bills, I'm gonna pay some bills, we just gonna be chilling.
Then y'all are roommates and y'all need separate rooms.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You look at it that way too, you know what I'm saying?
That's right, but you have so many people, and unfortunately, like this close friend of mine, did not ask that question about her thing was, we're building and we're talking and we're hanging out and we're doing extra stuff, if you know what I mean. But they never asked the question about, are you my woman or are you my man? They never asked that question.
Let me tell you something. I had one time, me straight out the gate. You are mine. You ain't going nowhere, and it is what
and that's cool.
That's cool. We'll say that shit. You ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's another way. You ain't going nowhere. Right. But are you my girlfriend? If you see me out with if I see you out with another dude, wait a minute. You
Do I
supposed
have a right to say something? You know
There
what I'm
you
saying?
If you see me out with if you see me out with another girl, do you have the right to say something?
But if you don't have that conversation, you can't say that you really do just because y'all live under the same roof. And women are so quick. Now, guys, not me. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this because, like I said, I was going through a situation where I didn't want to be messing with a whole bunch of women. So you get one chick that you cool with. If I want to go get something to eat, that's who I'm calling. If I want to go to the movies, that's who I'm calling. Hell, if I want to fuck, that's who I'm calling.
Right.
And she knew she was that one that I would call for all of this. In my mind, that's just what it was. But to her, because I was doing all this, she automatically, without a conversation, assuming he liked me, he want more. We building
Because
something here. We
females
working
are
on something here.
emotional creatures. And I'm gonna tell you
And
something
we
right
not
now.
even and we ain't even living together. It's just because, hey, what you doing?
Let me tell you something.
We falling asleep at night talking. But I ain't you're not my girl.
Females are emotional questions. Once you put the dick to it and it's good, we in a relationship. You fuck with me, you stuck.
I don't think it's just the dick. I think it's the dick.
But I'm saying
I
The
think
dick and then the thought of everything else.
that's what that's where I was going with that.
Okay.
We can do all of that stuff and still have a platonic relationship. We can do all of that. But once you start sleeping with them,
that's a game changer.
for whatever reason, with women that don't have the mindset to understand and ask these questions, that is what they assume. Well, we're having sex. And not only we having sex, we having sex raw.
Right.
He ain't using no condom. So
because we the only two that we fucking with. So we
the
cool
only
with
two that we messing with. He spend a night, he got a toothbrush just in case he want to brush his tooth.
So
we in a
we talking
relationship.
about conversations that need to be had. Y'all need to have the conversation as females about what you want and what you planning on. The guys, the no conversation is good enough for us.
Oh no! I have them.
Hold on. The fact that we don't have the conversation lets me know, hey, she cool with what we got going on.
That's what happens.
So as long as she don't bring shit up, guess what I'm doing? I'm still kicking.
And honestly, the no conversation. Let's just say this: if me and Bernard was doing all of this stuff, the fact that he didn't have that conversation with me, but we were steady doing all of this stuff and fucking at the same time, then I'm self-evaluating. He don't want to have a relationship with me. Okay, so maybe I need to, hey, such and such and such. Let me ask you a question. Don't think too deep into this. I just want to ask a question because if I tell you don't think too deep in it, that puts your guard down.
Mine already going to me personally. I'm already thinking deep.
Don't
shit, here we go.
Don't think too deep. I just have a question. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Are we? What are we doing? Are we just smashing and hanging out, or are we trying to? Would you like to take it further? What do you want to do?
And see,
that's a conversation.
That would be a great conversation.
Like, look,
I'm cool with what we're doing, but I'm cool with what we're doing, but what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Taking this further,
right.
Whatever.
The thing is, people say, but what made you, want to get married? I wasn't pressured into marriage. My wife just basically asked the question around, and I'm gonna say this, around 2003. I just want to know what we do. Yeah. Like we kicking it, we hanging, we kicking it. You come to my crib, I'm going to your crib. I just want to know. Yeah. And I said, no. I'm thinking that in my mind at that point, I had kind of already made up in my mind saying, you know what, I think she could be Mrs. Alexander. I really, really think she could be Mrs. Alexander. And by the end of by the middle of 2003, financially, I started to put myself in that space to prepare for her for that. The meaning, my rings or whatever. But yeah, it's just a lot of times, like Bernard said, listen, if the shoe fit, we're gonna keep it going. That's not what I want. Right, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. If it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
We cool, just where we at.
Right.
And then like the man right here saying no communication leads to someone being hurt. And that's the truth.
That's the truth.
It does in the end because like I was saying before, it's always one that wants it, but never bringing it up. and the one that don't just gonna make sure the conversation don't come up.
And
Yes.
she, and then they're sitting there, they're looking crazy, and telling something. I gave this man or woman all this time. We did this, we did that. We did this. We went on trips. We bought this house together. I got his baby. Girl, don't no baby keep no man or no woman.
No.
That's some people think that though. Some people think that, and it's so unfortunate. But that's why it's a conversation that needs to be had up front, and especially if you make the common decision to move in with somebody. Now, if you
Yeah.
come out moving in with somebody at this point, we really need to know what we're gonna be, or what is this gonna be? Because if we're roommates, we're roommates. That
That's
means
why I said if you gonna split shit down the line, y'all need to be in separate damn rooms. And I don't mean creeping in the next person's room at night or during the day or getting drunk.
So in reality, how many conversations you think people don't really? I mean, do you really
I'm a
think people
conversationalist.
gonna go into that? I'm just saying you a different breed. But what I'm saying is, because you got young folks doing this shit too nowadays, not just people, not just
My
people
especially
our
daughter, my
age.
oldest daughter,
especially
will
young folks,
not
yeah.
do
You
that
know,
shit. She will not do that at all.
you know.
She refuses to do that. Sometimes I mess with her. I'm like, oh, it'll help you with your business. She's like, I'm fine. If I need some money, I'll call my father.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's good.
So
You got some
quantum,
people, you got some people, for example, that stay here in New York City, where the rent is through the roof and all that kind of stuff. So why not get a roommate?
so that is true.
Yeah, I just
Quantum vortex energy said a large percentage of women, marriage is like a land in a dream job. Then a couple years later, demanding half ownership in the business that hired you. Family law overwhelmingly favors women. I want you all's opinion on this before I say my opinion.
Well, my thing is, if you say it's like landing a dream job, what was you looking for
in that
when you
dream
was looking for
job.
your husband? When you was applying for this dream job, and I'm using that as a metaphor, your husband, what was you looking for? Was you looking for a financial come up? Was you looking for somebody that can take care of you? What was you looking for? Demanding half the ownership in the business that hired you. That's true. Some women can't do that. After you've done been married to them for a while, hell, even in the military, after you've been with them for a certain amount of time, you owe them half your shit if you still sticking there and
Ten
retired.
years, 10 years,
You
10
know what I'm saying?
years.
Wow.
So I see what he's saying, or she. I don't know if it's a male or female,
I
but
don't either.
I understand. I understand that concept.
Yeah, yeah. Well, take for example, we're seeing it right now, unfortunately, with Dr. Dre.
Mhm.
Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre's wife is requesting 24 million a year. I think, yeah, 24 million a year. Now, mind you, her argument is that she's been with him since 1996. They have kids, but the kids are grown, grown,
Grown as
grown,
hell.
uh,
Grown, grown.
grown, not little grown. They grown. But she still feels like she's entitled to $24 million
Why
because
not just one? Why not just 124 million and be gone about your damn business?
yeah.
Why give you 24 million a year?
So the argument what everybody's saying is that well, she didn't write none of those tracks. She's not responsible for Dr. Dre getting the being the
Beat.
creator of the Beats headphones. What makes this woman feel like she's entitled to $24 million?
So let me just tell you now, it's not about. She may not feel like she's entitled to it. The courts. See, this is what people don't understand. When you get a divorce, you do not have to hire a lawyer. He doesn't, and she doesn't have to hire a lawyer. You all can write up an agreement and submit it with the application to when you're filing for divorce.
Yeah.
What he's really saying, you don't have to do all of that. But when you let the courts, and this with child support too, when you let the courts get involved and start dictating, because she lived a particular lifestyle
Lifestyle.
when
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
with him, and he has this money on paper. Okay, notice I said on paper. Then the courts are saying that this is what is owed to her because she spent this amount of time with her, even though she may not have worked at the time, even if the children was grown. Now, me personally,
Well,
Okay,
even if you're not
but
married, if you were from a state with that common law bullshit,
if you're with a state in common law,
it's the
yes.
same shit.
Even if you're military and you was married to somebody, excuse me, you married to somebody for 10 years, it can been 10 straight
Mm-hmm.
years, and got divorced on a 10 years 1 day mark, right? They get remarried when you separate from the military, meaning divorce. Your first wife gets half of your retirement.
Get that, and I hate that shit. That's stupid as shit to me. That's
Half
stupid as
of your
hell.
retirement. And
Wow.
the military says because they were there when you was on deployments, working long hours, yada yada yada.
Mm.
That is what the what the military does. And the way I found out about it is because, of course, I was IT, but I was IT, but I worked in a personnel battalion, and it came up for they was doing the records for the E8 board, and one of the guys that was on the board found out that his wife was getting half his money. Now, sir, I don't know why you didn't know that she was getting half your money because you've been in the military long enough to know all this stuff.
Yeah.
But that is what was happening. She was getting half of his retirement check, and
Wow.
he acted a plum fool up in that building.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why some people, like, I tell people all the time, if you can get along with your soon to be ex, and even if you can't, but you have a decent relationship with them, try to do all the logistics outside of the courts. Don't take it to the courts. You don't even have to do. You don't have to. They don't even have to tell you how much child support to do. If you say, "Hey, look, I can only give you $200 a month." Okay, that's all you get. Now, I'm not saying take the $200 when he making $100,000 a year. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, the state of Maryland and the state of Virginia, oh, you coming up out them pockets.
Well, but
Give me damn.
I hope we answered that question. One of us interview for a large percentage of women marriages like that. I mean, it's a demand to have ownership in the business that hire you. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that's why I say it just goes back to the origin of what we were saying in the beginning. You have to really, really sit down and make sure that the person you're marrying or the person you're considering marrying is somebody that's on the same page. That and not just talking about it. I think the mistake people do a lot of talking. They got to show. They have
Now,
to show.
now, would you
That's
would
just
you would you say that more people should go to premarital counseling?
yeah, absolutely.
Or what about just couple counseling? Period.
I think so.
Even before you get to the premarital part, what about just
I
couples
think
counseling?
I think it would help. I definitely think it would help
I
because
only say that, I only say that if you feel like you need that mediator in there to help y'all. If you're not a talkative person or a conversationalist like you said you was, if you have two people that can't articulate what they trying to say and do, then yeah, I'll say counseling
right,
because they will hit those questions that you may not think of yourself.
right,
I think
You
I
know.
think I think counseling is good because here's the thing: that counselor with the conversation that they're hearing, and I don't know how it goes honestly. Well, I do know because I've been to counseling a couple of times, but not I've never been to couples counseling. So I'm just gonna say they listen to both of you all talk about whatever, and then they ask a question, and it might be the same question that you want to know, but
Mhm.
you just don't have the guts to ask. So I
right,
think I
right. That
think
happens.
I,
That happens.
so it does happen.
Yes, it does.
Okay, you're the clinician. I'm not.
No. It does. It does. Like and Bernard taps on it as well. That's if you both are quiet people, and let's say you're trying to keep, you don't want to address a certain particular issue, but you know you should address that issue, but you don't want to rock the boat in the relationship by
Yeah.
bringing that particular question up. The counselor is going to bring that particular question up.
Right.
Like we're talking about the housing situation or whatever. A counselor's going to ask you, well, what are your thoughts and feelings about you guys moving in together? Well, in her mind, she might have been like, well, listen, I just didn't want to ask that question to him because I didn't want it to,
Rock the
ruffle
boat.
the feathers, or well, what about your feelings about making her your girlfriend or boyfriend? And then the guy's like, damn,
Here we go with titles.
Here we come with the titles, but it's something that has to be answered. I think a lot of times people will kind of push that under the rug and just not deal with it, and we'll play this game until eventually it blows up in the worst way, or it's a situation where one or the other party get upset because the question was never asked.
Right.
And it goes back to, like we said, the discussion that doesn't happen. I mean, sometimes we, as guys, I know myself, I'm cool with the conversation never asked. As long as it don't come up, I'm cool. I don't have to bring it up. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just speaking on the guys' part. And women, because sometimes now we throwing it all on women. You have the guys that be the one that wants to have more, do more, be more in the relationship, and the woman might not just be feeling it. She might just got this joke sticking around just because she need these bills to be her paid.
Yeah,
he good with little Ray Ray and Nuck Nuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it can go both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
So Joetta said, the good doctor says counseling is necessary before, during, and after a marriage.
I totally agree.
I agree. I do agree. But like Bernard said, if you are a conversationalist, both parties, I ain't talking about one person.
Got to be both parties.
Both
Got to be
parties. If both parties know how to articulate what they feel inside without being demeaning and degrading, I don't think counseling is necessary.
Right. If you're that kind of person, if those are the two people where they can actually sit down, talk the issues out there, I think you're right. You don't have to do it because you're addressing the issues forefront. But for the people that don't do that, or one half does it and the other person doesn't, then I think it's very important.
Some people just don't know how to communicate.
Right.
They don't.
You can take somebody like Nitra, right? Strong-minded, female, whatever, and get a guy that she's trying to articulate and communicate with. But because she has a strong personality and she can bring it out, this guy will take that as, damn, why you nagging me? Why you tripping? Why
you aggressive? Right. Yeah. And then also the frustration that everybody, you'll learn that sometimes everybody, your spouse just may not be the person that's on the same page with you. Pay your own bills and you don't need that person to live with you. But you know what? Tracy, I want to comment on that.
But I think
that's true, but unfortunately, that's not the world that we're living in now. It's a low percentage of people that think like you. I totally agree with you, and that's my opinion. I agree with you. But there's so many people like, girl, I'm trying to cut this halfway because you got the people that want to travel, you got the people that want to do X, Y, and Z. They want to have the big houses, they want to do all this extra stuff, and so it costs. So let's cut the costs by getting in this relationship or hoping I can find me a sucker that'll pay some of these bills and go from there.
And what about the girlfriends that'll say, girl, he over there all the time, you might as well let him move in.
Yeah,
help you out with them bills.
Well, shit, that's a damn true statement. Exactly. But, okay, so let's play devil's advocate. Tracy says, pay your own goddamn bills, and you won't need nobody to live with you. It might not even be about the bills. It might just be because they want somebody there.
That's true too. Yeah, I don't want to be alone.
They want in-house. They want in-house. So it don't necessarily, just because you have somebody living with you, I don't think it's necessary about you can't pay your bills because, depending on how long you've been living there, you probably was doing pretty good before.
Yeah. Just having somebody there just gives you a little extra change anyway. You know what I'm saying?
See, you brought it back to money. It might just be they just want some in-house all the time.
Right. So you're right. It ain't about the bills because you coming to stay with me. Hell, I was paying my shit to start with. So just your little income just got me just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and that's if they paying the goddamn thing. So
yeah, that's true. That's very true. So it just depends. I think it just depends on how.
So okay, so that's interesting that you just said that. So what if you asked me to come live with you? Am I expected to pay the bills? Because you asked me to come live with you.
Now I'm gonna take that right back to the conversation that has to be had in the beginning.
If you ask me, first of
I
all,
would just say,
me, me being
I
me,
won't
me,
say you gotta pay me, but you gotta cook
me
a meal.
being
You gotta
me,
cook.
I'm not gonna just look. You can't say nowhere for free, so I'm gonna pay at least some utilities or something.
right. So that would be the conversation we had. So if we're going to do that and we're going to cohabitate, it's going to have to be. I'm not saying come down the middle with shit, but it's going to have to be some. Okay, well, I invited you to come stay with me. Blah blah blah. Can you cook? Do you clean? Do
Even
you?
if I pay all the
Do
bills,
you
can you
I
cook?
can,
Can
I
you
can,
clean?
I can, I can, I
That's
can,
what I'm
I
saying.
can.
Can
you know what I'm saying? Do you get right up out of bed and make the motherfucker up? Do
right?
you? Uh, you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
Do you? Do
they
you
don't
leave
make
your
too many
panties on
people
the floor
like
by
me.
the
And
damn?
you know what?
Look, they
You
don't
got
make
they
too many
probably
people
don't.
like me no more.
They probably don't. You know, my thing is, like you said, Nietzsche, if a guy asks you to come in and live with him, you might, like Bernard said, it may not even be about the bills. Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you, make sure that when I come home, the house got a nice little feel to it? I'll pay the bills.
And guess
No
what?
problem.
And then on top of that, you get a bonus because I'm a Scorpio. No,
See, I'm gonna leave that alone because I'm a
I'll
Scorpio.
leave it
I'm
alone.
gonna leave that one alone. I'm a Scorpio, so
I'll
God,
just go for this way. I'll go
yeah,
for this way. Here we go.
you get a bonus. Look, Larry had to take a drink.
yeah.
Ice can
I'll
cover
put
his
the hoodie
head.
on for a minute. Go to our
But look,
viewers.
for real, at the end of the day, even it ain't even about cooking and cleaning because I can do my own cooking and cleaning. But I
Right.
just need to know that you can do it in the absence of me.
Right, right, right,
You see
right.
what I'm saying?
Or if
So I
something
just need to
happens
know
to
that if
you,
If
I
something
need
happens,
you to do
or
it,
if some,
can you
can
do
you
it?
hold it?
can you
Right?
hold the
Can you
fort
hold it
down?
down?
You
Yeah.
need to know if I say, Nitra, I don't get paid to Friday. Go, fill my tank up for me on your way home.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Simple shit. It's simple. It ain't about the money. It's just, you know,
It's
it's just certain things you need
teamwork.
to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's teamwork because honestly, sometimes you co. Let me stop trying to say the word
Cohabitating.
because I keep fucking
Cohabiting,
it up
basically.
all the time. You living with somebody, sometimes I think it's just a test on how clean you actually are. Okay, because
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm coming over. Okay, you can go through the house real quick, whatever. But not clean, but just go through the house. So I think it also could be a test of who you are with your cleanliness, how you manage your bills, because they got front row seating on how you manage your money.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things that I think could also come into play as to why somebody invites you, because we're gonna say they're in a relationship now.
Mm-hmm.
Invites you in because you don't want to get surprised after you got married that you got tens and thousands of dollars in debt and you ain't trying to pay it off. So
Yeah.
I mean, we can look at it that way too.
Yeah.
As to why they shacking up. Well, you got those situations where people like, well, we're gonna get our finances right before we get married, or we're gonna do this and do that. But most people I know that do shit like that, it never happens, man.
Right.
It never happens.
I would never be with nobody no 5, 10, 15 years and we boyfriend, girlfriend, or that's
Yeah,
my
I
old
had
man
someone
or
tell
my
me that.
old lady.
I had someone argue me down and tell me, no, I'll stay engaged 10 years until I get this way. I had someone argue me down to say that. And I'm like, well, you're crazy because I wouldn't do it. And to this day, that person still has not gotten married yet.
I have to disagree with Joetta.
Testing
No,
the water. Shoot
no,
it.
I disagree. It does not take a weekend or a week to know about hygiene. And let me tell you why.
Nah,
Let me tell you why.
go ahead. I'm gonna say something too.
People
Yeah.
send in their representatives to get what they want. So if the chick wasn't cooking before, after y'all get married, that's just not her. Anybody can act like they taking a shower. Hell, you can go in the bathroom, run the water, sit on the toilet for a little while, make some bubbles smell good or whatever, and then come back out and you ain't washed your ass. So no,
Yeah.
I have to disagree with that.
And then when you say hygiene, when you just dating, you don't see me in my natural element. You don't see me in my house. So when you see me, I'm already freshly showered.
Allegedly.
Okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But when you meet somebody, you don't want them to smell you stinking. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, you're gonna shower first. Y'all females, you can just took a shower, but if Joe Blow say come over and see me, if you choose to go, you're gonna take
Jumping
another
in the
quick one
shower again.
right before you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
However, you get to living together, y'all shacking up, Now you get to look at his real daily habits.
Yeah.
Okay.
This nigga
He
done had the same drawers on.
ain't taking a shower this morning, so I'm gonna see if he's gonna take one tonight.
Right.
Nighttime come. Hold on now. Let's see if he's gonna get in there first thing in the morning. and them doodle stain white and gray drawers. Y'all don't get to see that. Y'all don't get to see that. You're never gonna see that because I'm gonna always have on black drawers when I come over there.
Right. And so, and let me tell you something. And
So when you come over here, you live with me, and you washing my clothes, you can be like, "What the fuck is this?"
And let me tell y'all a secret. let me get close. Let me get close. Let me tell y'all a secret. Growing up, my mom and my grandmother had me thinking that boys are dirty. Females are some nasty, disgusting, fucking people.
No shit.
Basic training, menstrual cycle, sanitary napkins, sunny side up, stealing each other's panties, not washing, not even doing a whole bath. I learned so much about females in basic training. So I strongly disagree because the heifer probably got on the same goddamn panties that she had on early in the week and say, "Oh, I just got multiple colors of these."
Well, if you paying enough attention and you helping to take the motherfuckers off every night, you would know.
You would know. Exactly. Yeah. That's heavy too. Like,
that's a different conversation, though.
That's you're right. That's perfect dating. That's perfect dating. You know, you date. You find out what it is that you want in a relationship.
Yeah, you can be anybody you want to be.
But look, it goes right back to what we said. It goes right back to what we said. So with that being said, you done lived together for a year. You done been together 2 years. 2 years at the most. So guess what? You know now. Yep. You know at this point what you want to do. Nah, she too nasty. Nah, she cool. Nah, whatever.
Right. You know. If she, can she cook? Do she clean?
In 2 years, if you don't know if she can cook and clean,
but hold on. But I'm like this. It's not even so much of can she cook, because I can throw some down spaghetti. I can't talk tonight. Spaghetti sauce out the can, some noodles and some meat together, and voila, I got what you got. But can she cook like a whole Thanksgiving meal from scratch? That's what y'all need to be trying to figure out. When the holidays come, what is she cooking for the holidays? Okay.
Well, for me, it ain't about cooking because I cook my own food.
Well, I know you cook, Larry, but I'm just saying for guys that's into can she cook? During the week, we Russian. We might throw some instant potatoes together, some instant Velveeta shells and cheese, whatever the case may be. But
well, let's not say can she cook then. Let's say do she cook? Put it that way then.
Okay.
Because I don't care if the shit good or not. It's the effort that you even went in there and prepared me a meal.
Can I come home from work and there's a meal? Can I come home?
I'll re-season the shit myself.
Come on, man. Can I come home after I work and come home to a clean home? Can I come home and at least say, there's a meal prepared? Can I come home?
And if we shacking up, am I gonna come home to? I ain't your damn wife. You see what I'm saying?
Right, because if you never had that conversation, you're right. You're not my wife.
Well, don't do wifely things then by living there.
Exactly.
But so see, that's why. Well, you know what? I take that back. You can live there, but y'all can't be in the same room. Separate. Y'all roommates.
Well, you roommates. Now, if you're my roommate, you're not obligated to cook. You do you, and I do.
Right, because now if we're gonna put the term roommate on there, just don't come to my room because you're not gonna like what you might see.
Right, because if I meet a girl,
I don't care. I don't care what we done did.
I match energy. Look, I tell you quick, I match energy.
If we just roommates, I don't care if you was in my room last night. This is my room. Go to yours.
I match energy.
Don't be tripping over who in my room.
Well, I don't want to hear that shit.
If we roommates now, if we're gonna put the title, we talked about title. So if roommate gonna be the title, if roommate gonna be the title, don't come with no bullshit.
Right. But that's why it's so important to establish those things up front. You have to establish those things up front. If you don't establish those things up front, like you said, Bernard, I totally agree with you. If you're a roommate, you're right. You're not obligated to cook because you do you and I do me. But if I meet somebody and I want to bring them home and they want to spend the night and things go down, they wake up in the morning, they decide they want to go in the kitchen and cook. You can't say nothing to them.
But then again, that's a conversation that needs to be
That's the
held.
conversation.
We might screw each other
Right.
and live in separate bedrooms, but I won't bring nobody in, and you can't bring nobody in. That is again
That's the conversation. Okay,
conversation.
okay, we're gonna be roommates. We're gonna do what we do. We're gonna agree not to bring company into the house.
Exactly. That
But
is the
you
conversation.
got to have that up front.
You got to have that up front.
Travis said you don't smash your roommate. You know some roommates be smashing each other and they're blaming
And
on the
you notice
alcohol.
he put laugh my butt off on that too, right?
Right, and they blame it on the alcohol. Oh, it was a really crazy wild night. We got drunk on Thanksgiving and blah 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 blah.
See, the problem is when that happens, feelings get involved.
That's
when
what I said earlier.
Listen, the feelings get involved. The minute, like you said, women are emotional about it. And the reality is this: you smash, their feelings get involved. The guy might be like, man, ooh, that's some good cut up right there. They're straight.
And he done it. He cool.
And he cool. She done caught feelings. She want to know where we going from here. Do you see yourself in the future with me? That it happens all the time. When that thing called feelings get involved, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
And we looking like, where that shit come from? Like,
Where did it come
where
from?
did that come from all of a sudden?
Yeah. And it just that just comes with the territory. I don't care what walk of life you are. I don't care what race you are. When feelings get involved and people spending time together, that's exactly what happens.
Wow.
That's
true. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's just a given. Right. It's just a given. And a lot of times people don't want to look at that because they're not thinking ahead. Nobody wants to pay attention to that part because they're not thinking ahead because you're having such a great time in the moment.
Yeah.
And then too, a lot of times we think if we have that conversation, it will mess up the dynamic. So we stay away from it.
But you have to, no matter how hard you think it might be, you have to have that conversation. Because if you don't, it's gonna go left. It's gonna go left, period. If you don't have a conversation.
No ands and buts about it.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna go left.
It's gonna happen. It might not happen next week, it might not happen next month, it might not even happen next year. But at some point, you're gonna end up with that elephant in the room.
But my question is, why do women allow it to go on so long?
Because because they're enjoying that moment. Yeah, they're enjoying that moment. And it's a great moment, and it's just like I've been waiting for this for so long. And I'm just happy that it's happening right now.
No, I don't think because it's happening right now.
Yeah. You don't think
not because it's happening right now, but because they don't want to be lonely. Or they don't want this good man that they never thought that they could get leave them.
Right. Because it's in the moment. It's going on. And I don't want to change anything.
But wouldn't a good man come in with a plan to start with?
A good man.
Not if he don't see you in his future.
Well, then is he a good man?
He a good man, but maybe not for you.
That's right.
Good answer.
Okay.
Good answer.
So I mean, he just may not be there for you. And it's okay.
And it's okay. It's okay. Listen, there's a lot of females that you can go out to dinner with, you can hang out with, and it's okay to know that might not be the person that you want to be your wife. That's okay. It's okay. And it doesn't make them bad people. You can have friends. You know what? We good friends because we just know relationship-wise, this would not work. And it's okay. I think the mistake that a lot of people make is they put expectations on people because you expect them to do certain things.
Your expectation is not my expectation.
Your expectation is not my expectation.
Never matter.
You in your mind, you're thinking this person's supposed to know how to do this.
He should already know what I want.
It just doesn't work. And that doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they just not doing what you're doing. It's just like a person that doesn't like traveling. If a person doesn't like to travel, that doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that's not the person for you if you're a person that likes to travel.
Or you have to understand that is not your traveling companion.
That's right.
You can still be together. You can still be together, but you just know that if you're traveling, it's cruises or going, overseas. that they possibly will never go overseas or take a cruise with you. And
Right.
that's cool. I just
That's
know
it.
that I would never ask you because you're not spoiling my fun, and I'm gonna go ask somebody else to go.
But see, that's
Right.
the thing.
Because if you don't want to go, you definitely not gonna have fun.
Because this is something that you want from your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and they're not able to give that to you. All it takes is for you to meet a person that's doing it. Game over. You meet a person that's fulfilling a need that you're not getting at home from your spouse, it's game over. And it happens. If I meet a person that says, listen, I like to travel, and and I'm a person that likes to travel, I'm gonna connect with that person. That just automatically comes with it because now you're gonna look at the other person that you're with, you're gonna be like, you know what, this just may not work. You know, I'm not sure. I'm intrigued by this person because this person is bringing something to the table that I'm interested in doing.
Okay, but that's one thing that they're bringing to the table.
It could
Are
be
they?
one thing.
But
It could be
but
one thing.
but
You're right,
is
but that one
but
thing
is
can
it
carry.
fair to leave the one that doesn't like to travel and she fulfills the other things that your heart desires versus one that does like to travel and she doesn't come close?
Right. All you have to do is make a compromise. It's a compromise. You may not like. I'm just giving an example. You know, when I turned 40, I wanted to be in the club. I wanted to pop bottles.
Mm.
Yes, yes, that's what I wanted to do for my 40. My wife, when she turned 40, I want to go to a beach. I want to go somewhere quiet. I ain't trying to pop no bottles. I ain't trying to do all that. So, but the compromise was I'll do what you like to do for your thing. And I said, well, I'll do what you like to do for your thing. And that's okay. As long as we can compromise, that's fine. You know,
Mm.
you have your way of how you want to do things. I have my way of how I want to do things, but we have to be in a
Absolutely,
space where we can meet each other halfway. That's all.
absolutely,
That's
Right.
absolutely,
all. But
absolutely.
when it gets to the point where you just flat out don't want to do it, now we got a problem. If you're not even trying to compromise, if you're not
Right.
even trying to do it, now we got a problem.
Now, well, sometimes when you ain't even trying, I say it like this, and I'm talking about my ex-wife right now. I ain't gonna say her name. I know none of y'all know her anyway, but
We know Patricia. No, I'm just joking. That's
I'm
not
about
her
to say,
name.
oh shit, nah, I don't know the damn Patricia,
I don't know.
but no, when a woman ain't trying no more, she done checked out, man. And when they check out, it's over, bro.
It's over. And,
Yeah.
and, and,
It's
and
over.
so here's the segue to that, me being a little transparent. So when my husband and I was at that end of the road thing, you know, that's when he wanted to be a better person. But I had already mentally checked out.
When they check out
And
here,
when I
it's over.
mentally checked out, I mentally checked out before I physically checked out. And when I physically checked out,
Oh,
it was 3 years later, and then I got a divorce. So now
Mhm.
I'm at the point to I want to get married, and people are like, "Girl, you just got a divorce." Girl, I was mentally checked out 5 years ago.
And
I was
and
single 5 years
and
ago.
that's the part people don't understand about going through divorce. You know, I get divorced in 2014, but the shit was over in 2012. You see what I'm saying?
right, right, right.
Yeah,
On both parties, just mentally
yeah,
gone.
Yeah.
You
mentally
see what I'm
gone.
saying?
And that happens. That could definitely happen. You know, and that's why, like I said, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You have to talk about those things in the beginning.
Right.
Not saying that things don't change, you know, because anytime you're with a person, you know, for a certain amount of years, you know, things change. But you have to be able to meet each other halfway. That's the
Yeah,
most important thing. And I think
Mhm.
when you get to the point where you just flat out don't want to do that, then that's when it's a problem. That's when the mental part of checking out.
What if you have a guy say, okay, because we talk about they should know within a certain time. You get a guy that may say, man, she cool for my girlfriend though. Yeah, she great as a girlfriend, but I don't think I want her as my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So they
I've heard
stay.
that.
They yeah. I'm speaking from God. I got a homeboy like that. Man, she alright as a girlfriend, bro, but I don't know if I want her as my wife.
But then they break up, and then a year later he marries somebody else.
He married her within a year,
See,
less than a year,
Mm.
and then the chick come back and say,
what was wrong with me? We was together for X
well,
amount of times.
because you be friends with both of them, and she be like, your boy had to been already messing with her because we just broke up and they get married. Yeah, shit to do with that. Ain't a damn thing to do with me. You know what I'm saying?
But the question goes back to him. You know, what is it that makes her not get that title to be wife? What is it that's causing her or making him feel like she just can't quite get
She
there.
could have had lack
I'm
of
gonna I'm gonna say
motivation.
I'm gonna say because she was giving him all the wifely duties before he was ever even ready to be a husband, and then when he got fed up or mentally checked out or whatever, because he done had all that, and then he found this woman he wanted to be with, and she showed him maybe just an inkling of what he had. I'm marrying this before I lose it.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's
That's a
deep,
good.
though.
That's deep.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I,
yeah.
I, I mean, the only thing I can say to that is that, yeah, it goes back to, you're with this woman for all this time, and she's perfect as the girlfriend, and you spend years with her, making her your girlfriend, but she still can't quite get over that threshold to be the wife, right? Well,
Mhm.
break up with her because, of course, she's like, all right, listen, I'm tired of being a girlfriend. It's like being on a job. I want my promotion, right?
Right.
But what happens, like you said, he ends up marrying another woman. What did she have, or what did she do, or were you still caught up in the act of wanting to get married? And that new woman showed you one thing that the previous girl didn't show you, and you said, I'm married.
So I'm listening to you. So it could be a number. It could honestly be a
Mhm.
number of things. It could be like the girlfriend didn't have any motivation, career wise, or just
Yeah.
try to think of team type things for the both of them.
You can
It could
take that
be,
down a million roads, man.
yeah,
It's a lot of
right.
roads.
It
Yeah.
could be,
It could be a
that
lot of
she
roads.
wants to live this type of lifestyle and she can't afford it. You
Yep.
know, that includes getting your body done, and you damn sure can afford
It
it.
could
Yep.
also be something as simple as we can't agree on how we're going to raise the kids.
It could be that,
That too. It could
finances,
be a million.
religion. It could be a
Yeah.
Mhm.
number of different things, and
Yeah.
that goes vice versa too. You know,
Yeah.
you see people, you see people post engagements. The dude get down on their knee, and they have this whole flash mob, and the girl is like, no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it
That's
happens. It definitely happens. It definitely happens. I mean, but that's like I said, like we all said, and I know we probably said it a million times. That goes back to you guys having that discussion at the beginning. You
got to
guys
have it at the beginning.
gotta have that discussion in the beginning. If you don't have that discussion in the beginning, you just kind of roll it. Eventually, that road you're going to come to a crossroads because there's going to be certain demands, and it could be on both sides.
Hmm.
On both sides. So these are things that just have to be addressed up front. You have to address those things up front.
Right.
So this was good tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to kidnap Bernard, bro. Because listen, you done bought a whole new swag and a whole new edge. I think we're gonna have to bring Bernard in here again. That's all I'm saying, Nietzsche.
Oh, I've already got it in my head. So I mean, we
Let
have
me
these
know.
talks
Let me
every
know.
Wednesday anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. I
I'm with
think
it.
this is great because I think what made this conversation tonight so unique is how Bernard said that he was married before and he got a divorce. He got married again, and he's looking at it from now he's looking at marriage from two different tells. And I'm 44, Bernard, and you said you're 45. Well, I'm 43. Going on 44. So and then I'm saying that, okay, well, I turned up and wild out and enjoyed college life and grad school life and going to the clubs and and finally got to a point with my wife that, okay, this is a person I could turn up with. This is a person I can have a good time with. This is a person that I could build with. I saw this at 28 years old. I'm done. Well, 29 years old and I'm done.
Yeah,
And that's
but
what
I've always been an introverted extrovert. I'm extroverted when need be. I don't have to go out. Honestly, when clubs was the thing, I hated going to the clubs. All the grabbing and hand.
Well,
Yeah,
well, for us, it depends on the time. Like if you're an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 21, 20-year-old, 21, 2-year-old, college student, and that's just what it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
You enjoyed it. And then you go to grad. In my case, I came to New York City for grad school. You go to the club. So I'm 22, 23. By 24, I had met my wife, and we were hanging together. We were partying
Right.
together. You know what I mean? So when you find yourself hanging out with someone and you're having a good time with that person, you no longer want to go to the club, by yourself to look at. interact with the women and turn up or whatever. You're just going to have a good time.
Right.
So when you find yourself able to do these things and enjoy these things with a person, that's when you can sit back and say, you know what, I think this is fun. So by the time you get to this age now, the only time you think about actually partying and going out, you celebrate your birthday, or you're going to a homecoming or something like that. That's it.
Yeah. I could turn up right here at the crib and just be
yeah.
with it.
And you get more for your money with the liquor.
Damn right. What I spend for one drink, I get a whole bottle.
Right. But the funny thing is, but for some people that don't have the luxury of being able to live that kind of lifestyle, they'll still go out to the club, they'll go to the bars.
And then they'll be on, their family would be on what is it? GoFundMe. Looking for some money.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, yeah, we got to go. Wendy Williams about to come on.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that, but that's why I wanted.
Yeah. I gotta see this.
What time it come on? It don't come on till 10 o'clock, right?
Oh yeah, Joetta, it's at 10 o'clock. Joetta, this is Joetta's fault.
I thought it was 8 o'clock.
No, I put it on my calendar.
It come on at 8.
No, she said it's on now.
It come on at 8. It come on at 8, and then the documentary come on at 10.
Okay, so yeah. So anyway, we're gonna drop.
We about to whack this off, right? Because it's on Lifetime.
Y'all crazy. Hit record on that shit and keep it moving.
Because I want to see the fuckery and foolishness with Wendy Williams.
I really want to see that. So anyway, Bernard, what we always do before we close out, we drop a gem of the night. Just a gem. Just a gem. Giving a little education, a little wisdom, a little knowledge from your perspective, for our viewers to take home.
Okay. If you're gonna take home anything I said tonight, communication, man. Upfront, open, honest. If me and my wife having communication, if I step on her toes, it may upset her. She step on my toes, it may upset us. But guess what? We come out that motherfucker bigger and better people than we were before we had the communication and the conversation. So communication is key.
Thank you.
Okay. My gem of the night is everyone stay positive. We're going through a lot right now with this whole COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. We're going through a lot, but the most important thing is stay positive. Keep good energy around you. Keep good people around you. If you're not able to get to a mental health clinician, keep good people around you. Keep good energy around you. I cannot emphasize that enough. Take the time out to reinvent yourself. Take the time out to enjoy life. Do something that you enjoy. Focus on just being the best person that you can be for yourself. Stay healthy. Exercise if you can. It's so important, with this whole coronavirus pandemic. We've seen that it's played a major attack on minorities and stuff like that. So what we need to do as a race, as a culture, as African Americans, minorities across the board, we just have to exercise. Not only do you appreciate the benefits of it physically, but due to what's going on now, mentally, you will definitely see a huge difference. So that is my gem for the night, and I'm going to pass it on over to Miss Deidre.
Well, I don't have a gem for the night because I think both of my brothers, they kind of hit it on the head. So I'm not going to say anything but thank you for coming out again and seeing us once again, same time, same back channel as always. We do appreciate you all. The world is opening back up, but I wish it would close just for a little bit so they get this virus under control. But tell your loved ones you love them, hug on your children, do Zooms and stuff, keep your mental involved. I guess I'm dropping the gym anyway. And we appreciate you all. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. And thank you.
Camille boy, thank you. Camille. Oh,
and one more thing. Bernard, we totally thank you for coming on our show today. We do appreciate you.
No problem. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Where do you live, Bernard?
I live in Goldsboro, North Carolina.
That's DMV though. He DMV. Don't get it twisted.
All day long though,
DMV. DC, baby. DC.
Okay.
All right, and we love you. Peace.
All right.